Hello everyone and welcome back to a Commander deck tech for Ertet, Remnant of Memnarch. We finally got a 5-color mirror. I saw the spoiler and it's a long time coming, so I got pretty excited and here he is. So, Ertet says whenever you cast a mirror spell, it's actually mirror, that's how it's pronounced. Sometimes I call him mir just because I don't think about it, but it's actually pronounced mirror. Whenever you cast a mirror, create a 1/1 colorless mirror artifact creature token. At the beginning of combat on your turn, untap each mirror you control. Then you can pay all colors, tap it, put 3 1/1 counters on each mirror you control, and you can only do it during your turn. So we just got some 5-color mirror tribal. So why play him? Basically, he's the first 5-color mirror tribal commander. People have been wanting it for a long time, and we finally got him. He is basically the Edgar Markov of Mirror. If you read Edgar's Eminence effect, he says whenever you cast another vampire spell, you basically make a 1/1, just like Ertet. It doesn't work from the command zone, but whenever you cast a mirror, you make a 1/1, and then he puts counters on the whole team. So we have lots of freedom of the cards we can add from because he's 5-color. We can really customize what we want to add to the deck and do all that. It can be a budget deck, or we can highly tune it to be super expensive and whatever, or we can just put it together for $100 and it'll still be pretty good. So the thing that's cool about him is a lot of mirror have mana abilities, so we can basically use the mana abilities from the mirror, like tap it, get a red or whatever, and just pay the 5 into Ertet, and then he's just going to untap everything anyway. So it's nice because we can do a lot of pre-combat shenanigans with him, so we can get the most value for our turns. Here's the game plan. The deck doesn't need Ertet to win, but he helps out a lot because he beefs up our guys, he untaps our guys, and he gives us more guys. So the deck is going to win by outvaluing our opponents with utility creatures and tokens for a pretty fast clock on our opponent. We're going to win with classic battle cruiser beatdown with the creatures that are going to get too large from putting 3 1/1 counters on them basically every turn, and our opponents aren't going to be able to stop it. So I like to have a funny win the game combo, and here it is. Mirror Battlesphere. When he enters the battlefield, create 4 1/1 colorless mirror artifact creature tokens, and his bottom effect says whenever he attacks, you can tap X mirror you control, and if you do, he gets +X/+0 until end of turn, and then he deals X damage to target or player or planeswalker it's attacking. He's really cool. Just this card by itself is cool because we have a lot of untapped mirror, just because when Ertet gives us random 1/1, so not gonna have haste, we can deal a lot of damage. But the cool thing with Mirror Battlesphere and Mechanized Productions is enchant artifact you control, Mirror Battlesphere. At the beginning of your upkeep, create a token that's a copy of enchanted artifact. Then if you control 8 or more artifacts with the same name as one another, you win the game. So the cool thing about enchanting Mirror Battlesphere is hear me out. You play Mirror Battlesphere, you get 4 colorless mirror artifact creature tokens. Their name is just straight up mirror, right? So then if we get to our upkeep, and this is enchanted on Mirror Battlesphere, and we still kept around those 4 mirror, or we just have 4 mirror tokens in general, we win the game because we have 8 mirror tokens. So pretty cool. It doesn't have to be 8 Mirror Battlespheres to win. It's just 8 artifacts with the same name. So pretty cool. Win the game. Planeswalkers, we got a few of them. Tezzeret the Seeker. He can untap 2 artifacts. Not really the big use for him. We're really looking for his minus, right? Search your library for an artifact card with converted mana cost X or less and put it on the battlefield, then shuffle your library. The cool thing about this is a lot of our mirror are very low costed, but we can also get just any artifact from our deck. A fun tech you can do with him for ramp is you can just straight up -0 him and get an artifact land. So kind of cool. Agent of Bolas, we're really only using him for his +1 effect. His -1 effect on Agent of Bolas and -5 on the Seeker, they're not super relevant. They can win and they can be good, especially the Seeker. He can win by making all your mirror at least 5/5s, which is cool. But again, we want to use him for his minus, so we're probably not going to get there. But Agent of Bolas, look at the top 5 cards of your deck, put an artifact card from among them into your hand, show everyone, cool. And then later on, we can just target player loses X life and you gain X life, where X is twice the number of artifacts you control. We're in an artifact deck, so that can hit someone for quite a lot. Then we have Master of the Bridge. Creature and planeswalker spells you cast have affinity for artifacts. Affinity for artifacts just means it costs 1 mana less, not like a colored mana, but like a generic mana, colorless for my old Magic players. costs a colorless mana less for each artifact we control. So it's really nice to help our mirror come in for like free sometimes. Plus to him, he deals X damage to each opponent, which is important, where X is the number of artifacts you control, and we gain X life. Really cool, just because we have a lot of artifacts anyway. -3 to return target artifact card from our graveyard to our hand, just a little bit of recursion. And then we can ult him, exile the top 10 cards of our library, put all artifact cards from among them onto the battlefield. We're not really trying to get there. It's cool if it happens, like every ult, like it's just pretty much cool if it happens. But we're really using him for his static ability of giving all of our guys like affinity for artifacts, and then also just draining on big scales. Final Planeswalker, we have Ugen, the Ineffable. That's how you pronounce it. Colorless spells cost 2 less to cast. We're an artifact-heavy deck. Most of our stuff is colorless. I think it's like 76% of the deck is actually colorless. He's cool because we can exile the top card of our deck, make it a 2/2, and then when it leaves the battlefield, it just goes straight to our hand. That card goes right to our hand. Pretty cool. And then we can just -3 him to get rid of something we don't like. We can't get rid of colorless stuff, but most stuff in Commander is not colorless, so pretty good. Okay, so here are the mana mirror I was talking about. We have Alloy Mirror that taps for anything, but all of the other ones just kind of tap for, you know, green, white, red, black, blue, right? It's kind of cool if we get like the trifecta on the battlefield. We can tap them all to Ertet and then put a counter on them, go to combat, they're all on tap. It's kind of neat. But these are like the mana mirror I was talking about earlier, that we're going to get, you know, just some free extra mana before combat. And then we also do have Palladium Mirror and Plague Mirror. They're kind of like different because they don't really tap for colorless. Palladium Mirror gives you 2 color. Sorry, they don't have for colored, but they tap for colorless. Palladium Mirror gives us 2, which is sick, and Plague Mirror is taps for 1 colorless, but he has Infect, which is pretty cool because when we're putting lots of counters on stuff, he's gonna be like a big Infect man. Like at the very we like tap Ertet once, like he is now a 4/4 with Infect. It's pretty good. Let's go to creatures. Adaptive Automaton. He is not a Mer, but sometimes he is. He's going to give our other Mer +1/+1, and when he hits the field, he will be a Mir. So he won't trigger Ertet on the cast because he's actually a construct on the cast, but he will be a Mir on the field. Brutaclad, he is also not a Mir, but he's going to give our creature tokens haste, which is really good because when we make them with Ertet, we can attack with them right away. But more importantly, at the beginning of combat on our turn, he makes a 2/1 blue Phyrexian Mirror token. And then if we want, we can choose a token we control. And if we do, each other token that we control becomes a copy of that token. So the idea is basically we make a bunch of 1/1s off just like Ertet in general. So 1, now we give him haste, and 2, we can make all of our 1/1s into 2/1s, which is pretty cool. And I just generally like the idea of getting like a new mirror, whatever, each upkeep. Darksteel Mirror is kind of cool. He's a 0/1 with Indestructible. He does nothing like right away. He's a good blocker, but I like the idea of just having like when we tap Ertet once, he's now like a 3/4 Indestructible, then he's a 6/7 Indestructible, and like he's just good. I like the idea of having a big guy that's indestructible. Hover Mirror, kind of same logic, it's like a 1/2 with Flying Vigilance, which isn't great. Little hint, guys, there aren't enough mirror to make it super viable. Like, some of them are still kind of poop, as you can see. But again, like, we tap Ertet once, that's now like a 4/5 Flying Vigilance. Like, it's pretty good. Ichorclaw Mirror, when it has Infect, when it gets blocked, it gets +2/+2 until end of turn. Kind of cool, just because like it kind of protects itself from dying. So if it gets blocked, it's really a 3/3. And then it has Infect, which is nice. So it's going to pretty much kill or at least really hurt whatever it's getting blocked by. And then if someone gets it through and we have Ertet, just kind of crank it down. Or before like damage, we can tap Ertet, because Ertet works during our turn only. Not as a sorcery speed, but only during our turns, which is kind of cool because we can attack and then it's like a combat trick. But then again, we can just put a ton of poison counters on something. Jor Kadeen, the Prevailer. Fun fact, this guy actually used to be the Mer Tribal guy for a long time, because he's a 5-mana 5/4 with first strike, pretty cool. And then as long as we have 3 or more artifacts, which is Metalcraft, our guys are going to get +3/+0, so it makes all of our mirror like 4/1s at the very worst. Pretty cool. Lodestone Mirror, I like the idea of, he's a 4-mana 2/2 with trample, but then we can tap an untapped artifact we control, and he's going to get +1/+1 until end of turn. So the thing I like about him is, since we do make a lot of like not hasty 1/1s when we cast like just mirror in general, we can just tap them and just still swing in for like a lot, or like the very worst, we could just like say, yeah, we're just like attacking for like 2, and then if someone like blocks something we don't like, again, we can just like buff it up. But not only does it like hit like creature tokens or like creatures or whatever, but we can tap like our artifacts that don't care about being tapped. So like, for example, we could tap like a Vanquisher's Banner, right? It doesn't matter if it's tapped or not, but like now it's giving a benefit to our Lodestone Mirror. Lasheel Clockwork Scholar, he's an Elephant Artificer, not even close to a mirror, but he does prevent all damage, combat damage that would be dealt to attacking artifact creatures we control, and that's pretty much our deck. And then whenever one or more artifact creatures enter the battlefield under our control, we draw a card, which is only once a turn, but still, mono white draw. Metallic Mimic, same kind of thing as Adaptive Automaton, is it doesn't work right away, because he enters as a you're casting him as a shapeshifter, but when he enters the battlefield, you're going to say mirror, and then he is going to be a mirror, and then our other mirror are going to enter with +1/+1 counters on it, which is still good because now whenever we cast mirror, they're going to be 2/2s instead of 1/1s. Mirror Galvanizer, probably one of the best mirror in Magic, because not only is he a lord, but we can pay 1 and tap him to untap each other mirror we control. Let me paint a picture, right? Let's just say we have a couple of our mana mirror on the field. We tap them for 4, pay 1, we have 3 left. We untap all of our mirror, we tap them again for 4. So now we just net gained like 7 mana for that. He's cool, right? And he also just kind of gives our guys vigilance in a weird way if we don't swing in with him. And we probably won't just because he is a lord. Mirror Retriever, when it dies, we get another artifact from our grave to our hand. He's just good recursion. I just like him. Then we have Mirror Welder. I like the idea of this guy. It could be really cool. So he's imprint, exile target artifact card from a graveyard, right? So we can just start up tapping him and just eating cards from graveyards that we don't like. And then he has all activated abilities of all cards exiled with it. So he's kind of our way to hate against our opponents, like grave decks. Like, and if they have like cool creatures with like cool effects, like activated abilities, we now have them. Padim is not a mirror at all. He's actually a Dalkin Artificer, but he gives our artifacts hexproof, and then at the beginning of our upkeep, if we control the artifact with the highest mana value, we draw a card, and we probably will because we're a pretty artifact-heavy deck, and, you know, as long as we're not going against another artifact-heavy deck, at least he still gives our guys hexproof. Shimmer Mirror is a flash mirror, and then it gives our artifact spells flash. Pretty cool. And then Steel Overseer, unfortunately, is a construct, but he does put a 1/1 counter on each artifact creature we control, so he's kind of like Ertet's baby version. But again, he's still basically a lord. And then final creature, we have Dalkin Archmage, 4 mana, 0/2, and then whenever we play an artifact spell, just draw a card. So, kind of cool, you know, just good card advantage. Sorceries, we don't have that much. We have all of Dust, so each player sacrifices all colored permanents he or she controls. We have a lot of colorless stuff, so we're relatively unaffected. And everyone else is pretty affected. Fabricate, we just search our deck for an artifact. That's it. And put it in our hand. Farseek, search your library for a plains, islands, swamp, or mountain card and put it onto the battlefield tapped. Guys, let me say right now, I took the creative choice to not add any basics to this deck. I just decided not to. That's really it. No basics are in this deck, so we have triomes. We get triomes off this. But you'll see the lands in a little bit. And hope no one plays Blood Moon. Nature's Lore, same kind of thing. We have triomes. We just get like one of the triomes we need. Organic Extinction, Improvise, which is cool because we can tap our artifacts to help us pay for it, and then destroy all non-artifact creatures. We're mostly artifact creatures, so it doesn't matter us too much. And then Scrap Mastery is kind of cool. Each player exiles all artifact cards from his or her graveyard, then sacrifices all artifacts he or she controls, and then puts all cards he or she exiled this way onto the battlefield. You basically take the artifacts in your grave and the artifacts on your field, and you do the old switcheroo. So late game, if we have like a lot of guys in the graveyard, it's just a big reanimation spell. Or if like a nuke happens, we get them all back. Supreme Verdict, just like a big nuke happening. This is kind of like one of our last resorts. It's not like a bad nuke, it's just, we just want to have uncounterable stuff, which is good, and like, it really helps us out of a pinch. Let's go to Instance. Chaos Warp, get rid of something we don't like. Cyclonic Rift, get rid of everything we don't like, but only for a little bit. And then we have Dispatch, which I like because it says 1 mana tap target creature, but we have Metalcraft. If we control 3 or more artifacts, just straight up exile that creature, so it's just better Swords to Plowshares, Path to Exile. It says 1 mana exile a creature. Generous Gift, you make something you don't like into an elephant, and your opponent becomes sad. And then we also have Teferi's Protection, just in case we want to nuke or someone else nukes. We're going to lose. Or Teferi's Protection is literally a get-out-of-jail-free card in Magic. Something you don't like's happening, Teferi's Protection, you're fine. Let's go to Artifacts. Arcane Signet, just because we're 5-color. Same thing with Chromatic Lantern. We're just 5-color deck. Try to keep those colors optimized. Cloud Key, I actually put this key in over some like creatures that made it cost less, because I just wanted to maximize the number of like mirror we could have and not like random other things for the same effect. So when it enters the battlefield, we say artifacts. Artifact spells cost 1 less. Pretty cool. Darksteel Forge is probably our highest mana. I think it is our highest mana cost. 9 mana. Our artifacts are indestructible. For an artifact deck, what really more could you want your artifacts to have? Door of Destinies, when it enters battlefield, say Mirror. Whenever you cast a Mirror, put a charge counter on it. Mirror, get +1/+1 for each charge counter on it. So again, it just kind of builds up pretty big, and it's nice. Forsaken Monument, colorless creatures you control get +2/+2. Hey, that's our Mirror tokens. Whenever you tap a permanent for colorless, add 1 more, so it's like a Soul Ring or whatever. It gives us more mana. And then whenever we cast a colorless spell, gain 2 life. Forsaken Monument, pretty cool. Good for Eldrazi. Not as good for Mirror, but still pretty good. Herald's Horn, he let us borrow it. He says, say Mirror, and then Mirror costs 1 less at the beginning of our upkeep. Look at the top card of our library. If it's a Mirror, show everyone, and then we put it in our hand. If not, just don't tell anyone. Don't worry about it. Mirror Matrix, 5 mana. It's just straight up indestructible, and it gives all Mirror +1/+1. So hopefully our opponents aren't playing Mirror or Changeling, because they'll get +1/+1. But probably not. And then we just pay 5 mana to just poop a Mirror into play. Just whenever we want. Kind of cool. Mirror Reservoir. Probably the best Mirror artifact. 3 mana, tap it, add 2 mana to your mana pool. Only use it to do Mirror stuff. And then we can pay 3 mana, tap it, return target Mirror from our graveyard to our hand. It's a mana well as bottomless as the Mirror Tireless. I love it. I love the card. It's so cool. Then we have Mirror Turbine. Is it just me? I always feel like this art and Mirror Matrix look exactly the same, but whatever. Tap it, make a Mirror, kind of cool. And then tap it, and 5 untapped Mirror, and then search our library for a Mirror. Just put it into play. Kind of cool. I just like the idea at the very worst of just making a Mirror whenever we want. Skull Clamp, equipped creature gets +1/-1. Our guys are 1/1, so it basically just says pay 1 mana, draw 2 cards, and kill a creature. Kind of cool. Soul Ring and Soul Ring. Swiftfoot Boots. Swiftfoot Boots. I usually run Greaves, but there are some times we like want to target our guy, so I decided to put Boots in instead. Just give him Hexproof. Like, again, we don't really need him to win, but he does really help the process. Unwinding Clock, untap all artifacts you control during each other player's untap step. Just kind of good. Makes our guys have vigilance. We have a lot of artifact lands and artifacts that tap for mana, do all that good stuff. So now they're just untapped all the time. Urza's Incubator, we say Mirror. Mirror costs 2 less. That's most likely gonna make him cost nothing, but let him be free. And then the final one is Vanquisher's Banner, 5 mana. You say Mirror, Mirror get +1/+1, and whenever you cast a Mirror, draw a card. It's just the Sunday special. It's a Lord, and it lets us draw cards. Enchantments, we actually have a good amount of enchantments for an artifact deck. Artificer class, never seen this card before, straight up. 2 mana, the first artifact spell costs 1 less. Kind of cool. When this becomes level 2, reveal the top card of your library until you reveal an artifact card, put it in your hand, the rest on the bottom. And I kind of like the Sunday special of level 3. At the beginning of your end step, create a token that's a copy of target artifact you control. So again, at the end of our turn, we just get the best artifact we control every turn. And even at the worst case scenario, let's say we don't level it up, right? It's just like it makes our artifact spells cost 1, like the first artifact spell cost 1 less. And then we can just pay 2 mana and also just dig into it later. Guardian Project just lets us draw whenever our guys come in. It's just good draw. Kindred Discovery, when it comes into play, we say Mirror, and then whenever a Mirror enters the battlefield or attacks, draw a card, which is good because when we create a Mirror, we're going to draw a card off that, and then on the attacks. It's just good. Plus, I love the art. Look at all those Kenkus. Kenkus are like Raven people in D&D. Look at them go. Mirrored and Besieged is a funny card in this deck. So, Mirrored and Besieged. It really depends on when this card comes into play. We either choose Mirrored into Phyrexian, we say Mirroring, whenever we cast an artifact spell, make a Mirror, cool. Or we say Phyrexian, at the beginning of our end step, draw a card, then discard a card. Then if there are 15 or more artifact cards in our graveyard, target opponent loses the game. Very situational, right? I think if it's late game, and we got a lot of artifacts in our grave, we could just straight up kill someone with Phyrexian, right? But I feel like more often than not, we're going to want to say mirror, so just whenever we cast an artifact, it just comes with a mirror along with it. Reflections of Ligjara, when at Azure Battlefield, we just say mirror whenever we cast a mirror. Whenever we play a spell of the chosen type, like mirror spells, we just get another one. So it basically just gives us like a token copy of our non-token mirror when it comes in, which is pretty cool. Tempered Steel, run Tempered Steel anytime you can. Artifact creatures get +2/+2. I just love it. Lands, Academy Ruins. Tap it for a colorless, or we can pay a colorless and a blue, tap it, put an artifact card from our graveyard on top. It's just easy recursion. Command Beacon just taps for mana, but I also kind of like it how we can sacrifice it and then put Ertet in our hand. It just kind of gets rid of paying the commander tax once. I think it's good. Command Tower, we're a 5-color deck. Exotic Orchard, we are a 5-color deck. The likelihood that one of our opponents is playing or at least like one of our colors is fine. At the worst case, it's a basic. At the best case, it's a 5-color duel. Field of the Dead, literally nothing to do with mirror. I started recently when I make deck lists. I think if you have like a good amount of non-basics, just toss it in, because now we make 2/2 black zombie tokens that we can block with or whatever. I think it's fine. We have no basics in this deck, so I figured, what the hell. Inventor's Veil, fair. At the beginning of our upkeep, we gain a life. We can pay 4, tap it, sacrifice it, and then search our deck for an artifact card, put it in our hand. We have to have Metalcraft for it to work, but I mean, come on, we're an artifact deck. It's going to happen. Path of Ancestry, tap for any colors, and then whenever we cast a mirror, we scry one. And then Tomb of the Spirit Dragon is just kind of a funny card I like, because we can tap for a colorless, or we can pay 2 and tap it and gain a life for each colorless creature we control, and we got a lot of them. So I put in all the bridge lands. All you really need to know about the bridge lands is that they are artifact lands. They enter the battlefield tapped. They're indestructible, and then they tap for one or the other. We are running them. There's 9. We're running, or sorry, 10. We're running all of them. Those are kind of our duels. Then we are running the artifact, just like the OG artifact lands. They're just artifact lands. They tap for a single color. Darksteel Citadel is the exception. It's indestructible, and it taps for a colorless. And that's it. They're all just artifact lands, and they tap for the color. And then we just have the Triomes and Datha, Jetmir. This is the kind of stuff when we play like Farseek and Nature's Lore, like we're just gonna get one of the forest lands, and then like what other 2 colors like we need most. So if we need, white black, sure, in Datha, we need like red white or blue green, whatever. Sorry, like we just get whatever we need. We just have all the Triomes. And that's pretty much it. Miscellaneous about the deck, $520. But the thing is I kind of went like an idiot and I decided not to run basics. So you can make this for like a lot cheaper if you just like want to cut back on the land base and like some of the other cards in the deck. But it's about $520 if you built this as of like right now. The average CMC is 3.51. That sounds like a lot. We have 34 lands. It's really not that bad because we have so much ramp just from like our mirror that tap for like mana and all that stuff. It's really nothing to worry about. Thanks for watching. Like the video. Please subscribe. I appreciate it when you do. And then comment what I do next, because I'm running out of ideas for decks and I'm just kind of making them as we go along. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you next time.